So welcome to your practice and welcome to your space and welcome to yoga. We are in this time of equinox. I have my arms out like this and I feel like they're being held above and below. And it's just this great reminder that we are in this, time of balance between night and day, and weather's getting nicer, and that just also fills us a little bit and opens us up. So just breathing into all of that, however you have your arms, however they are, close your eyes. And settle into your breath and into your sit. Softening what you can and opening what you can. Even by just smiling, we open the temples, we open the third eye space, we soften the muscles of the face. Like when you're outside on a sunny day and you turn your face to the sun, you smile, it just happens. Take a nice big breath. As you breathe out, your hands are not at your heart, just bring them together at your heart. And welcome yourself to your practice. Now is time for yoga. And we'll call ourselves home 3 times. Inhale, lengthen tall. And exhale this breath completely. And inhale fully to begin. Bow your chin. Pause here for one breath in and one breath out. And on your next exhalation, release your hands to your thighs, lift your chin, and open your eyes. Okay, let's start with, I see Anna do this. And I was like, yeah, I love a good, I love a good pounding. Pounding on the legs. Oh. All right, we're gonna start with a foot massage. So go ahead and grab a foot. Good. Okay. Any foot. Just give that foot some love. And anyway, you just get to know your foot. Shove it up. We're gonna pink it up. Good. Okay. And just pinching around the bones. So the outer edge of the foot, the heel. Don't forget the top of your foot. And then we'll just move into twist. So as you're ready, you're just gonna twist that foot. Whatever you're doing. Good. Okay. And then we'll release. Take a moment to compare color, feeling these little things that ground you and carry you. And then bring the other little one over. Just love that one up. Yes. Just twisting your toes and pulling them. And, you guys have been doing this for a long time now. And always interesting to think, gosh, what if I never did this? What would my toes? You'd have no awareness. You wouldn't even know that this was a good thing to do. Okay, give it a twist. These are the thoughts that just boggle my mind with this practice, things that you can easily move through life and never do this. Right? Eventually things catch up. So just take a moment, honor those little feet. Okay. So we're going to start on hands and knees, and we're going to do we're just going to do cat cow and a few things from there. So put a little blanket underneath for your knees, and then I know you have all your stuff nearby, but I'm just gonna say, have your bolster, your 2 blocks nearby. Okay, and then we'll just always smooth out the blanket. It's like, you're creating sacred space. Okay, and then once we come to hands and knees, we're just gonna move a little bit front to back. So we get a little bit of a wrist, a little bit of movement here, and you feel free to make this, if you want to make it really big, you can go all the way from cobra and all the way back to child's pose. So you just find that little movement that will wake you up. Let's get the breath coordinated in some way. Maybe bring a smile because you're moving the way that not everybody is going to do today. Okay, so just do a few more. Could be moving really slow. So you're feeling in. We're just going to come and we'll just all meet on, a tabletop, hands and knees. And once you're here, we're just going to roll the ribs over to one side. So your hips and your head move to one other side and then back. You're just going very gently with the ribs. And Sadie just ran right underneath me. We just keep, and maybe you engage your belly a little bit. Maybe you start to turn this into a rotating, rolling, I want to say cat-cow, but we're pretty stable. So just rolling, thinking of the ribs rolling, and then reverse and roll in the opposite direction a few times. Okay, and then from here, friends, we're going to settle back into child's pose, and you have your bolster and your blocks, and you can bring them in. If you're better to just sit, if you've had, you decide how you want to take this. Sitting too is, if we sit, we're also getting the ankle flexion and knee flexion. It's just the hip flexion we're missing. So feel whatever you need, and then just surrender here. And you just drop in, let the jaw go. Feel your breath, filling all of this space, this container that we've just been moving around a little bit. And then also notice, how your ankles, your knees, your hips feel right off the bat here. And just honoring what is. We're going to come back to hands and knees to move through cat-cow. And I'm just going to make it a longer tabletop just for interest's sake. I'll have the toes tucked under. And then we'll just move whenever you're ready through your cat and your cow. And you might be moving a little bit front to back. Just whatever feels good. Moving with your breath and listening to the creaking and the cracking. If you have any of that, it's always exciting because you feel like you're giving yourself a little adjustment. Feel your shoulders rolling, even the head moving. A lot happening in the simplicity of this pose. You've probably done 1,000 times, maybe thousands. Good. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to take it back again to child's pose and make it your own. Come to rest in some way. So in child's pose, I'm going to turn my palms away from the floor. So they might face each other, be upright, or facing up. And again, just be with your breath. And any sensations arising, you just notice them. Inhale. Inside out. Okay, we come back to hands and knees, and I'm going to take a downward dog. If you prefer a little puppy, you know, the hands come forward, you take the hips back. So I spread your fingers, guys. Take a moment to really be in the hands, like this is supporting you. So I spread the fingers, my index fingers pointing straight ahead. The hands might even turn out a little bit. And I really anchor the heels of the hands. Turn the, oh, here I'm going full on from base to all the way. And turn the inner elbows to face out. And then I press from the shoulders to the wrists as I start to lift the knees up. So that the arms are really engaged, the shoulders are engaged. And start to let the head go. Feel like your arms are like, you know, two sticks. And from your shoulders, you can really anchor those sticks into the hands, into the mud. And then take a glance at your feet. And hopefully don't see any part of your heels, and we have the legs aligned. I'm just going to press the heels towards the floor, press the thighs back, take the belly in a little bit, and then just take the head, you know, like you're doing a little shoulder flex, shoulder flossing. I'm going to move the head a little closer to that space between the hands. So the shoulders literally move away from the ears. Good. And just be here for 3 more breaths. It's opening up the backs of your legs, strengthening your shoulders. And lift your heels high, lower your knees to the floor. And again, I'm just going to come back to child's pose. I'm going to bring my knees together this time. Set the hips to the heels. Just drop in and breathe. And you can turn your hands up. That was a lot for your, you know, hand strength. And you know, we really anchor the hands. You know, we're really pressing into the parts of the hands with the bones, just like with the feet. You know, that's the parts we want to be putting our weight on, not the soft, you know, palm or the arches of your feet. Take one more breath. Okay. And then we'll just come up to sitting and we're going to set up. Okay, so I'm going to take this little blanket that I'm sitting on. I'm just going to roll it like just roughly, nothing fancy. And I'm just going to put this at the back of the mat for the tops of my feet. I'm just going to change the camera so we can see. Okay, then I'll take the bolster. And you feel, if the bolster feels like it's too much, once you get in, you can just take another blanket, you know, you just fold it into a bolster shape and you'll just substitute that, okay? But I'm gonna take this extra blanket and just lay it up here for my head, just to be nice and nurturing and create sacred space. Okay, and then the pose is, I come to lie down top, so I have the knees right against the bolster. And so as I come to lie down, the tops of the thighs are going to hit. Right? When my feet are supported on that blanket, you can take the chest down and then just support your head. And that's the pose. And it should feel pretty good. So you make any adjustments you need. You know, if the bolster's too much, you replace it. And then just drop in. Release as much as you can. We're just going to lie here, just like this, for about a minute. So it's lots of time to drop in. If you feel like, you know, you want your knees on the floor, you'll just wiggle yourself back. That's okay. I just want you to feel more that you have like the tops of the thighs supported. Stop. Magic word. Okay. If you feel like your back is a little tight, this is what I was going to say, then just anchor the tops of the feet, lift one leg up, pull it back like we do when we set up for Cobra. And that might just release that. Okay. Just rest. And rest with intention. You can even say that, I am resting with intention. When that intention is just to soften, receive the support, like a little seed deep in the soil right now. Just receiving the support of the earth waking up. everything that's going to nourish and nurture that seed to sprout. And notice, you use your powers of scanning to see, oh, where am I holding tension? Am I protecting something here? And you'll just feel, you compare the two sides. So maybe it's even the tops of the thighs that are supported. Are they equally supported, or do you feel one side's a little bit heavier? And then bring your attention to the lighter side, offered space. All right, so staying as you are, you're going to bend the right knee, and you'll just take your right hand, see if you can catch the foot or your pants. And if you don't catch anything, just keep it bent, and you can just take your right arm either along your side or just place it back. So if you can hold it, all we're going to do is just hold it and just soften anything you can. So that's the pose. Just letting the right thigh be as as soft as possible here. Even letting your right shoulder drop. Your jaw. And then the breath. Like melting the heart. Just one more moment. And use that as that invitation to drop a little bit more deeply. And then we'll release that leg and just come back. Maybe you change the position of your hands. And just come back and then just, feel. Okay, and then we'll do the second side. So you bend the left knee, and if it's possible, you can grab the foot. And I brought my thumb alongside the fingers. And just find your space in your place and drop in. And you notice something's coming up. Maybe you feel something that feels like tension or discomfort, and you explore it. We're not attached to it. Meaning that, if there's a story associated with it, you just don't tell yourself the story. Just be okay. I see you. Let the left shoulder relax, the jaw relax. The side of your waist, small of your back. Just taking your final few moments here. And then release that foot and just come back to just the basic resting here. And like wiggle yourself down a little bit, or feel if I need to adjust. Take a nice breath in. Breathe out. Okay, I'm just going to tuck the toes under. So You might even just move that blanket that you had the feet resting on. So you have the toes tucked under. You start to press the heels back and just kind of firm the legs. Then you're going to draw your belly in. So we feel the tailbone drop a little bit. And then we'll just wave these heels side to side, just very gently. Yes. Okay. And then just reposition the feet so the toes are tucked under still, heels are pressing back, knees are hopefully lifted. We're going to come up to Sphinx. So draw your belly in, lift your head and your heart, and find the forearms on the blanket or on the floor. And then we'll spread the fingers. I even turn the hands out a little bit, like a little downward dog action, and then press the forearms forward so that you're almost like tucking up into cat pose. So the chin is maybe coming in, maybe your head can drop, move the shoulders away from your ears. And then if your knees want to rest on the floor, I'm going to keep the toes tucked under just to open the feet. Keep the belly drawing in so you protect your back, and just let the head go as much as you can. So the shoulders are moving away. There's lots of space for the neck. You know, the belly's in, so you're supporting your back. And just breathe deep into this shape. Keep anchoring into the elbows, so you're lifting the heart. One more breath. Okay, and then bring yourself back into the rest. And this last moment, we're going to just lie here over the bolster. So wiggle yourself now. You know this shape. Find whatever feels good. Let the tops of the feet, maybe find the blankets again. Change the cross of your hands, and then just release yourself here for a few more breaths. The other thing you might want to try is just turning the heels away from each other, toes in, so we maximize this low back opening. And we're going to go from here to child's pose. So whenever you're ready, we're going to come up, and we're going to do it really mindfully. Take the hands as if you're setting up for cobra, spread the fingers, lift your shoulders, and let that lift the head, the heart. And just bring yourself up into like a little push up, and then we'll take it back. And this bolster might come in for child's pose. I'm just going to pop mine ahead and rest the hands on there. And maybe even the forehead, or not hands, actually like from elbows. And the forehead might rest there. And if you feel you want to wag your tail a little bit or shift your rib cage side to side, and make it a rolling, moving, breathing, living child's pose for a few moments. And then melt in, and use this opportunity to scan and say, how are my ankles, my knees, my hips? Do they feel happier? Okay. So just really release for maybe 2 more breaths. Sigh it out, heart releasing. Okay. And then lovingly bring yourself up. Come to sitting. Okay. So here's the next one we're going to do. I'm going to take 2 blocks and the bolster, and I'm using 2 blocks. I'll show you the pose, and then you'll be like, oh, I'm good with one, or I'll just put a blanket roll underneath. So make a little teeter-totter like that, and while you're watching, I'll just show you quickly. I'm just going to pull it down. I'm sitting behind it. I'm going to lie back. So here's where you decide, oh, maybe I don't like my head hanging, and we're just going to teeter-totter a couple times. So, and I know we all know what a teeter-totter is. My kids maybe not, but that's the teeter-totter. So you see what, how high you like it, and then we'll just sit. You can lie back, and I have the blocks are hitting right under the heart already. Maybe the head goes back, or you use your hands to hold it. Maybe your arms come over your head, or you keep them by your side, and just explore this. What happens if I just roll myself? You might lift your hips all the way up,
And if you have your arms over your head, you know, it's the coming down, as the hips come down, you get this lengthening. You just go very slow. So you're just exploring. You know, I always say yoga is about play. So you're at the park and there's this little teeter-totter bolster and the sun is shining and you're like, oh, what can I do with this? So just give it a try. You're doing it already. Good. Okay. And then settle into a place that maybe you feel good, feels good. Like I'm going to take my arms out to the side. My hips are coming back down. I'm just going to be here with the head, but if the head's not happy lying back, you just scoot yourself down. Okay, let's just take maybe, as I settle in, I was going to say 2 more breaths, but I think it's going to be 5. Good. Just let everything drop over the supports. Just a couple more breaths. Softening any place you can, the belly, the chest, shoulders, the jaw. Okay, and then we'll prepare to come out. So if you're digging it and you're like, oh, I'm not ready, then just go so slow. But I'm going to take the hands, I'm going to lift the head up so my neck's not doing that work. And take the hands to the floor and just slowly press yourself up. And you take your time. I can see you if you're loving that, like that felt pretty good. Okay, so take your time. Okay, our next pose is going to be twist. So we've done this like back bendy opening. So we're just going to twist, and I'm going to use the bolster. We'll do this. We've all done this before, I'm pretty sure. So right hip to the bolster. This is where we're just going to turn around and lay over. So if you need more, you need higher height, you can grab a blanket and just, make yourself a higher bolster. And feel free to move the bolster once you're in too, so that you feel your chest is supported. If you're, maybe you want to cover yourself, that's always a nice thing to do too. And then, okay, you might be in it already, but I don't think so. Okay, good. So I'm actually going to start with the hands, like doing that little hand work, and then just moving the ribs side to side, just starting the twist before I actually come in. And just like this little dance, moving almost like this side to side cat cow we did at the very beginning. Good. So do that until you feel ready. And when you feel ready, then I said it, I have my right hip at the bolster. So I want to get as much of the left side of my chest and my belly onto this bolster. And like I said, you move it around until you find it. And your head might face the same direction as your knees. I always like to take maybe 3 or 4 breaths to let the body settle. And then I'll turn the head. You decide what you want to do. The other thing that happens is that once you're in it, your body goes, oh yeah. And then after 3 or 4 breaths, you might even come up and go a little, twist a little more if that's there. So I'm just going to let you drive your ship, settle in. Use all of those powers of sensory awareness. So it's about feeling into your senses. It's not about feelings. It's about feeling in any sensations arising and saying, is this about the protection or connection? Can I connect with this space and release it, let it drop? Or do I need to protect it? Both are very valid and different on every day. Okay. Rest in, child. And as you rest and release and remove from that, the senses, move to the deeper part of the flow of the breath. And how can we nourish what's on offer here? Anytime, you're welcome to just move in a little deeper if your body starts to open. Being with your breath for these final few moments on this side. Feeling the spiraling of your breath. And the softening that happens as you exhale. If you have your head turned away, just bringing it back now. Let the neck come back. And then before you come up, take a full breath in and melt it out. And then using your hands as if you're doing cobra, you spread your fingers, plant into the earth. Lift the shoulders, and then you lift yourself up. And just naturally, you're just going to turn around. Okay. And we're just going to lie over the bolster. So hopefully that's in a good place for you. You can just keep your knees bent. Just lie back over the bolster and feel free to, scoot your hips away from the bolster or keep them close. And, maybe the arms out. I'm going to heel toe the feet wide and bring the knees together for this basic resting pose. And close your eyes or just gaze softly so you look without seeing if your eyes are open. And just allow the body to absorb all the nutrients that you have released and opened. Nice. Let's take 1 or 2 breaths here. Now you can stay here. I'm just going to add the hip lift. So I'm going to separate the knees and heel toe the feet together, or not together, like hip distance apart, and walk them in a little bit. And bring the arms not down by the sides, maybe just 30 degrees away, with the fingers spread, and anchor your shoulders down. And then you feel into your feet. Exhale completely, and as you inhale, you start to lift your hips up, and you don't need, they might go really high, and that's fine. It might not go that high. Just take a moment and then soften. And we're just going to come into this little hip sway. So I'm just going to rock the hips from one side to the other as if they're almost drawing a smile. And just whatever you're doing here. You might just stay with tush on the floor and do a gentle windshield wiper. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to come to rest with the hips lifting. So I'm softening my glutes. They're, the tush is above the floor. It might be an inch and it might be a centimeter. I'm going to soften the glutes as much as you can. You let your cheeks hang like ripe mangoes. Not my expression, but I just love it. Good. So tush is just hovering above the floor. The feet are supporting. Everything else is dropping. Take one more breath. And then slowly let your tush come down to the floor. And if you soften those cheeks, it's going to feel like little pillows you're dropping into. Okay. Good. Just breath in. If you feel a little dizzy or lightheaded, that's normal. You're breathing deep and you're resting. So take your time, and then we'll just turn. I'm going to put my little blanket here. Take the left hip to the bolster. And then again, I'll take the hands and do this little bit of, maybe just working into the twist, just turning your ribs, maybe your head, your hip might be moving. Just, feel into, I want to say, the simplicity of this. Even though I say there's so much to think about. What are my ribs doing? My hips moving, my head's moving. And you're smiling, and you're breathing. Good. Okay, and then whenever you're ready, you'll bring yourself in, trying to get as much of the right side of your chest and your belly. Maybe you keep your head facing the same direction of your knees for a few moments. And again, I'm just going to let you guide your ship. So whenever you need to come up and retwist, or you're ready to turn your head, all of that good stuff. Just being here. Finding that time and space, and you can move away from the sensations, following the path of your breath. You might even notice little tensions that are sneaking in. And then you say, is this about connection? Can I release this and be with this? Or do I need to protect this place? Okay, moving into our final few breaths. If you have your head turned away now, just bringing it back for a few moments. And when you're ready, just planting the hands, lifting the shoulders, and use the hands. Push down to rise up. And again, just bring yourself around, and we're going to lie back over that bolster one more time. I'm just going to push it up a little bit because I'm right at the wall here, and I do want to be able to straighten my legs. So if that's you, make those adjustments and then lie down in any way that feels good. And just take a few moments to just be here. Okay, if you want to stretch your legs along, then go ahead and do that. And then just settle in. This is a lovely little pose called Shavasana 2. And it's lovely if you have your legs straight, then you can feel, the whole backs of the legs are on the floor. We have the lower back curve happening. It's a natural curve, just supporting it. And then the heart can melt. Hopefully the shoulders can relax. And the face can relax. So if you'd like to extend your arms over your head, that's what I'm going to do here. Just open the hands and palms are facing up and just reaching away. I'm going to add the lengthening of the legs. And then I'm going to press the mid belly, your solar plexus area back into the bolster, the heart space into the bolster. And then as you have your feet are like you're standing on them, you'll soften the backs of your legs to the floor. So the feet are active, you're actively pressing into the bolster. There's a softening in the legs. That's a lot to think about. Just be with whatever's happening. Okay, and then release your arms back down to your sides or out to the sides. Just pause here. And then we'll bend the knees, place the feet on the floor. I'm going to separate the feet wide and a very gentle windshield wiper. And your knees might come all the way down to the floor and they might not. Just very gently, just feel the nourishment and just the kind of release from everything we've done. Very gently. And let's just do one more on each side. So remember which side you started with. And then we're going to bring the knees together into basic resting pose. So the feet turn out, or the heels turn out a little bit. And just be here for a few moments, softening. One more breath. Good. Okay, so I'm going to come up. I'm going to separate the knees, heels over the feet, even place the feet in a place that I can sit up with. Take your hands to your head, lift your chin to your chest, hands to the floor, and press yourself up. And then just take a moment to just sit for a moment and just feel. Okay. I'm going to turn around and face the bolster. I'm just going to take a few forward folds. Maybe it might just be one. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to open the legs out either side of the bolster. They don't have to go super wide. And you prop up what you need. So if your knees need some support, just throw a blanket underneath. And then the bolster's here.
You know how it can go. So you can hold it. You can put a block underneath it. You have all your props. So just take a moment. Let's just sit once you're here. I'm just going to take this out. Just be in the upright for a moment. Soften the backs of your legs like you just did. So even though you're upright, you're just consciously dropping the legs to the floor. Good. Okay, I'm going to reach the arms up just to lengthen. If that's okay for your back, go ahead and do that. And you lift yourself up, literally lift yourself up. And then as you exhale, you come in. And the hands might come inside, they might go on your legs, they might go behind. You just really feel like, just moving in so gently. As if you're that little seed, and the first thing a seed does is actually burrow deeper before it awakens. So take your time. Once you hit a place where you're like, I think this is my spot, then you might anchor the hands and do a little bit of this swaying, and it might be more like head and shoulders than ribs. Just kind of feel, how can I create more space inside? Your eyes are closed, you're very introspective, or your gaze is soft. Okay, and then we're going to hang out here for about a minute. So you take your time, you find that place where you feel supported. Maybe you're at that place of discomfort, but you can invite in comfort by tuning into the sensations arising. You will notice, is my right side equally soft to the left side? And that could be like your heels, and then maybe the thighs, and maybe even the hip bones. You can feel them, the backs of the shoulders. And you look for that balance, even in the symmetry of this pose. Can you balance the two sides? And the more you can drop in through your softening, we create space for the breath. If anything is hard, maybe you need to come out a little bit. So that we can be in the space of the breath. Bathing. Anything on offer. Melting yourself. Releasing your heart space. When we release the heart, we open it. There are so many reasons in our life where we protect. Even within our own bodies, we're protecting. So it's not always about interaction. How can you open and be here? And we're still here, we're still in it. If you feel like you need to kind of come out and re-lengthen and then come back in, then that's, you listen to what you need. You just do that very softly if that's where you're going to go. Okay, jawbone, hip bone are images of each other created in the same shape almost, maybe, of course, different, but same, but totally different. You're going to soften your jaw. You're going to soften your hips. If you can relax your tongue, you're going to relax your pelvic floor. Just final few breaths. Always that invitation to drop in more deeply.
And then using your hands, the same way we've been doing. So the hands plant. And they do the heavy lifting. And you just take your time. Once you come up, I'm going to stay with my legs like this. But if you need to bring them in to cross-legged or Baddha Konasana or whatever you need to do, do it. And then just pause in the repose. So let your, all that softness you feel from your crown of your head, you know, it's just like bathing you. And we're going to just take simple twist here to just close it out. So however you're sitting, it's going to work just fine. It's going to keep the left hand behind, take the right hand maybe to the center, lengthen, and then just turn your chest to the left. And it can just be a very soft turn. As we turn to the left, put your mind into the right hip, right thigh. You might even take the heart back a little bit just to bring more weight into the right side. So we want to keep both sides soft, even as we twist. And the head might want to turn, but without, you know, as soon as I turn my head, I feel like that right shoulder's dropping. I want to keep the shoulders in line and in balance. So you're just feeling in the balance in the twist. And then you find the breath. You lift your heart. You soften through the right side a little bit more, and then through the left side. Good. And then release yourself to center. And we're just going to pause in center. If you want to lean back on your hands, you know, just kind of release that. You can do that. It's almost like that lying back. Okay. One more breath in the repose. And then coming back and just setting up. If you have your legs crossed, change to the opposite cross. And then move so slow into this twist as you turn your chest to face this right leg. You open the right shoulder back, and then it's about the left side. So even though we're turning to the right, I'm going to shift my heart to the left a little bit, almost leaning to the left a little bit. So I can really soften that left hip, left thigh, left glute. You know, your head can turn, but let the shoulders stay balanced, even in your mind's eye. The lift of the heart. And it just kind of takes the weight off of the pelvis. You're not just sinking in. There is a lift. And you just be in this twist. All the powers you've cultivated in this last hour of deep inner introspective practice. You know, this body is a gift, and taking the time to know it, to explore it at different times. You know, like if you think about how long you've been practicing yoga and how much there is to learn and the joys of an aging body. Good. And release. And then just be in the repose. If that's sitting up, that's back on your hands, whatever you feel you need to just be. You know, space for gratitude. Yes. Okay, and then we're just going to rest into all of that with Shavasana. Okay, so I'm going to have the bolster here, and I'm really digging the blocks underneath the feet. So I'm just going to set that up. And then I'll put this little blanket on top of the blocks just for softness. So whatever works for you. Support under the head, a blanket over the whole body, heating pads, and then the eye covering, all that good stuff. So we're just as quick as we can. Come into the rest. You know, the ultimate repose. And remember, this is what attracted me to yoga. Initially, as I walked past a class in Shavasana, oh, what is that? I need that at the grand old age of 27. I need that. Well, it resonates so much more now. And, you know, practicing Shavasana, it's a practice. It's not easy, especially at the beginning. But here you are, seasoned yogi, the end of your practice, body supported. We can just release to gravity, to the earth, to the joys of feeling into this open heart space, to the openings in your legs, in your feet, in your palms, and to the knowledge that you did that. Rest well. Staying as you are. Maybe starting to deepen your breath, a nice full inhale, and an equally restorative exhale. Let's feel yourself rooted to earth. And you can just, for this moment, release everything you're holding. Surrender. And trust. And if you choose to stay in your rest, and I deeply honor that. If you're ready to come out and take your time and journey with awareness. What do I need? How can I treat this body like the sweet gift it is, even here? As always, once you come upright, nothing to do but just be in your silence and in your energy, and really absorbing what you have offered yourself with this practice. Take a nice big breath in and
As you exhale, bring these hands together in front of your heart with intention, intentional awareness. Inhale and lengthen, and exhale, bow your chin. And just, here it is, this opportunity to just honor what is. Prepare to seal this practice with our May We Be Blessed mantra in one Om. You inhale, lengthen tall, and exhale this breath completely. And inhale fully. May we be blessed with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be healthy, and may we be happy. And we'll seal that prayer. Inhale. Take a full breath in. Breathe it into your hands. And together we wish for peace, peace, peace. Om Shanti, Om Peace, Om Namaste. Lift your chin and open your eyes and offer this prayer to yourself. Peace starts within, and we'll send it out into this world that we love, right? And take it back. Yes. All right. Mwah. So much love and gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, enjoy this beautiful day. I'm going to get a +15 today. And Anne, are you here on Thursday? No, okay. Mwah, everybody, we wish Anne a beautiful trip. She's heading to Palm Springs with her girlfriends. And Sharon, you're here for like another more practices, right? I did also want to say, guys, like, I just want to maybe together just honor, I just want to honor Sharon. I was thinking yesterday, like, she's going on this incredible cycling trip around the Netherlands. My dad's a Nederlander, kind of, and she's been doing all this prep work, and she's been working and riding a bike and taking care of herself. And I just was honoring you silently in my head yesterday, and I just want to send it out because, girl, it's impressive. You create for yourself this life that you love. So yes, there we go. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here.